Good morning. Bix Weir here, March 20th. This is a breakfast chat, a roadside breakfast chat. Still working on the name, morning briefing. What I thought I'd do is give everybody heads up on what's going on today, things to think about as far as the road to Roota, and to go down pages like Zero Hedge and say, okay, here's what I look at every day and how I relate it to the road to Roota way of looking at things. I know all you guys, not all of you, most of you look at Zero Hedge every day. Amazing resource, Zero Hedge. I mean, if you're looking for the biggest things going on, just click on Zero Hedge and you can amalgamate all the news agencies into one stop shopping. Anyway, this is a morning summary of what's going on at Zero Hedge and how it relates to the road to Roota. I'm just going to go down quickly on each article to give you a heads up of what I see. And the number one article today is it's a live. Oh, this is going on right now. The live grilling of FBI's Comey and NSA's Rogers testified to Congress on Russia and Trump. We all know the Russia story was invented by the Democrats and the kind of the left. I would say the left part of the deep state. They're really bad guys, as a way to get Trump out after he was elected, and basically they're going to try to kick him out because of his ties to Russia. I have no doubt that Trump was talking to Putin about getting rid of these bad guys within the deep state. Yeah, he should have been. This was a worldwide effort. It wasn't just in the United States that we were looking to take these guys out. It's all over the world, including, I mean, we're seeing it in the elections in Europe, at the Brexit and Trump's victory. But this was a coordinated worldwide takedown of the bad guys. So I have no problem with Trump dealing with the Russians. I have no problem with the Russians hacking our elections in this situation. We needed someone to help us. We needed help around the world to take out these bad guys. So I got no problem with it. Anyway, it's a witch hunt, and they're looking for something on Trump to get him kicked out. Trump is flipping that on these guys, saying, okay, you can't find anything on the Russians hacking, my involvement with the Russians hacking. But, by the way, we have at least 9 people within the secret government establishment that leaked this information, and they should be tried and prosecuted because of that. And that's what each side will be arguing. The Democrats in Congress will be arguing that Trump and Russia are hooked up at the ankles, and the Republicans will be arguing it was completely against the law leaking this information. It is secret information, and when you do that, you get tried under the Espionage Act. Very interesting stuff. And then number 2 today, it's back in the news. Deutsche Bank. I've been talking about Deutsche Bank for a long time. A few months ago, China came in and bailed them out briefly on their derivative issue. Their stock went from $10 back up to $20. But it didn't go away. It was just enough time for the Trump election, Trump to get elected, to be put into place to start the removal of these bad guys. And now Deutsche Bank's falling again, right in line with what's going on in Europe, with Greece, with Italy. The Italian banks are a mess also. This is all happening at the exact same time for a reason. This is the takedown. Takedown of the bad guys, takedown of the monetary system. Trump is not taking down the system from his side. I don't think he will. I think he will allow it to happen when it starts in Europe. But it's clear that Steve Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary, does not have this in mind. He's rigging the markets every day still, gold and silver especially, as we see. But hang on. This is all coming to fruition very soon, as I've talked about for quite a while. Most likely it will start in Europe, and this Deutsche Bank plunge into the red for 2017 is just a sign that things are starting up again. So get ready on the monetary side for a lot of action this week, next week, and in the coming months. Merkel offers olive branch to Russia as solution to many international conflicts. Merkel is just begging anywhere she can to get friends, and and she's going down, and she's definitely part of that deep state. Her and Obama were tight. You could basically take who was buddies with, and when he was president, and who was he enemies with, and basically everybody he was buddies with were bad guys, and everybody he was enemies with are good guys. So yeah, Merkel came to Washington to. I don't know what she was going to tell Trump, but Trump said no. The best part of the Trump Merkel meeting was when Trump said, we have something in common. The CIA has spied on both of us. It kind of just shocked the reporters and the people in the audience, but it's true. They were busted for spying on Merkel. They're spying on everybody. They're spying on us right now. Hi, good to see you. Anyway, next article is really interesting. Russian ATM spit out cash after malware attack. Where did we just hear that the CIA has the ability to hack any electronic device? Do you not think this is a CIA operation? Imagine the havoc that would wreak if every ATM in Russia started kicking out cash to anybody who was walking by, and they can do it with these computer programs. I mean, the amount of control when you think about it. And this was all through the Vault 7 disclosures from WikiLeaks, but the amount of control you have when you embed these electronic devices with malware, and basically you can control them remotely. And these ATMs, they're all built under USA software, embedded software. Very little is built in Russia. Probably built in China with software developed by the USA and plugged in there. But this is every country in the world. Whoever they're mad at, they can crank up their ATMs and spit out cash. I think it's a great thing for destroying the monetary system anywhere. Russia could easily hack it and do it to the U.S. Can you imagine walking down the street in the U.S. and the ATMs just start kicking out cash? That'd be a great thing. It wouldn't be great for the banks, obviously. It would be very difficult for the banks to ever get over that, because what are they going to do? They'll just create more money out of thin air, and there'll just be more hyperinflation. Then they'd have to shut down all the ATMs, which they probably might want to do. Anyway, moving on. Gorsuch is looking to be nominated to the Supreme Court. Democrats, this is the line in the sand for them. They can't have someone who's going to uphold the Republican ideals on the Supreme Court. I don't think there should be any Republicans or Democrats on the Supreme Court. Since when is the law supposed to be bent towards Democrats or Republicans? The law is the law, and the Supreme Court is the arbitrator, the final ruler in the law, not whether you're Democrat, whether you're Republican. The Supreme Court has been usurped by these people for so long. I mean, how is Obamacare constitutional, forcing other people to pay for other people's medical care? Ridiculous. The whole game just keeps going round and round. So doesn't matter. I don't think so. I think they should all be kicked out, and after the USA collapses, our federal government collapses, maybe we can get some new chief justices who uphold the law and go by the Constitution. Wouldn't that be a unique thing? Anyway, a whole lot of much ado about nothing, as they say. Key events coming this week. There's always key events. They're going to spin it like Janet Yellen is going to talk about this. Everything's a spin. All markets are controlled out of the basement of the Fed and the basement of the Treasury, and that's where they click the computers. So there's nothing that happens during the day that matters. JP Morgan, our wonderful friends over at JP Morgan, say market patience could quickly run out if Obamacare repeal stays deadlocked into April. It's going to stay deadlocked forever. Trump doesn't want to be responsible for this debacle. So most likely he would love a delay, and Obamacare keeps running, keeps costing the government and the people lots of money, and everybody gets angry about it. Interesting, the April timeframe, because there is talk of a tax revolt. the Democrats, I live in California, that's all they talk about now. We're not going to pay our federal taxes. Wow, how quickly would that end the debt ceiling issue? Steve Mnuchin is juggling money, and if you don't have any tax revenue coming in, that gets thrown into the picture. It's going to juggle a lot faster. But I think it's a great idea. A tax revolt would mean it would be a clear sign to the government that you shouldn't be spending so much of our money. 35 million people either work for the government or are contractors to the government, the federal government. 35 million people. That's over 10% of our population gets paid by our government to do what? Enforce rules that they don't even have the legal authority to put in place. It's insane, and it's going to end. And as Ron Paul says, as soon as the money runs out, you're going to see a change in our federal government. So I'm real excited about that. Let's see here. Exciting news. Trump lashes out at Democrats ahead of coming hearing. Russia's story is fake news and everybody knows it. Here's the deal. Do you remember when the mainstream media, right after Pizzagate, coined the term fake news? This is fake news, fake news, fake news. Well, that whole line of speech has been flipped on the mainstream media. Now no one knows what fake news is. They hear fake news and they don't think, oh, Pizzagate or internet stories. They think, oh, Trump is calling the media fake news, or the media is calling Trump fake news. Fake news applies to everything now. So it was a great way to flip it around, because it would have been really detrimental if any of the truth news coming out of the alt media, the internet, the researchers into Pizzagate and all that, if they got labeled with fake news and it stuck, that wouldn't have been good, because that would give the mainstream the ability to just, it's kind of like saying, oh, it's a conspiracy theory. Once you hear that, you get to push it away and not deal with the facts and the consequences and all that stuff. So the fake news meme has been pushed onto everything now, which is great, because now they can no longer say that's fake news with everybody knowing what it is. You say fake news now, it could be Trump talking to the media, it could be the media talking to Trump, it could be the media talking about alt news, about real news, about internet investigations. So nobody knows. So I think that's a great thing. Going down the line here, exciting things for today. Behind the smiles, China prepares for the worst. Will counter all U.S. trade penalties. A trade war would destroy the globalization. Globalization is what holds the world together, the monetary system together right now. The end of globalization, as Alan Greenspan said, would be the end of the monetary system. I think that's what Trump wants. He knows exactly what happened when big trade, I wouldn't say war, yeah, I'll call them wars, happen. When we turn into a protectionist country, everybody turns protectionist. We start putting tariffs on someone else, they're going to put tariffs on us. The obvious conclusion is imploding monetary environment. The economics will just actually get destroyed. If we start throwing tariffs on China, they'll throw tariffs on us, and we won't get cheap goods, which is great for the U.S. because, in one way, because we'll have to make our own stuff. And at the end of the day, that's exactly what's going to happen. When the banks go down, because the banks are heavily involved all around the world with derivatives, with you name it, they're in every country. So they can't have a trade war. They can't have an end of globalization. I mean, they lose hundreds of billions just in the losses in their shipping investments, which are huge, gigantic. And that was a big part of the problem in 2008. Everybody was talking about housing, but the shipping market got destroyed. And hundreds of billions of dollars were lost by the banks, because the banks finance all those ships. Anyway, back to the end of globalization would be the end of the monetary system. Greenspan wrote about that in a Financial Times article a few years back. I highlighted that on the road to Roota. And it's true. And that's what Trump's pushing. This protectionist type of trade will blow up. And he knows it, and that's part of the plan, is to blow the monetary system up. But remember, when the monetary system blows up, a few things happen. One, there's no more debt. which is great. There's no more electronic assets either, but there's no more debt, and the U.S. is the largest debtor nation in the world. But we'll also have to bring manufacturing back to the United States because no one would trade with us. So there, if you want jobs, there's a ton of jobs right there. Take all the jobs from people who are making all our products, for example, China, and bring them home. And we'll have to make our own stuff. It will change a lot. The stuff that we use in the future, I think, will change a lot. A lot less crap that we buy from China will be made here because it will be more looking at, okay, what do we need? How many plastic kid toys are really necessary? So it'll really go to, at least at the beginning, it will focus on what we need to operate our society in the United States because no one will trade with us. And it's truthfully, it's a good thing. And as long as it doesn't bring us to war, I think we'll be fine. China will be mad that we destroyed the U.S. dollar. They should be mad. But they have a lot of factories. They can nationalize U.S. factories, power plants, all kinds of things in China that they can say, hey, let's just call it even. You destroyed the dollar. We'll keep all your manufacturing plants and power plants that you built here, and we'll just call it even. And everybody, I think, will close their borders at that time and take care of their own population, which is a great thing. I think China is looking at Bitcoin as a monetary system going forward. I know they are. Cliff High saw a white paper coming out of China in Chinese. He doesn't have it, but he's trying to get it. And it outlined over 100 massive benefits for the population of China if they adopted Bitcoin. And it's true. I mean, when the bankers are gone, and there's something in place that we can use, like Bitcoin, nothing good, nothing bad can happen from that. It'll give us a way out of their control, and I think that's the United States plan as well. So the whole debate over scalability and Bitcoin Unlimited versus Bitcoin SegWit, it might be a moot point because there's bigger entities that are taking care of the problem and discussing this at a much higher level than these little computer nerds who keep fighting back and forth. So more to come on that. Really exciting stuff. And then we have Britain is going to trigger Article 50 on March 29th. Here we go. I mean, talk about chaos. And it's all happening at the same time. Do you notice that? The Italian banks are going, Greece is going, Spain is going, Deutsche Bank is going, the Brits are leaving the EU. All of this is piling on each other, and it's happening as we speak. So yes, the U.S. is controlling and rigging the stock market, but how long can that last? J.P. Morgan has trillions of dollars in European derivatives that will go bad, and if J.P. Morgan goes bad, the largest bank in the United States, then you can kiss it all goodbye. Every bank will go down. And there's more. I just wanted to start off today giving you a little rundown of what's going on at Zero Hedge, how it relates to Roota, and hopefully this is enjoyable. You guys liked it, and you're on your way to work, and you can turn on your YouTube video and get a little heads up of what's going on in Roota's world. And we'll try to do a lot more of this in the coming days, months, and years. So we'll talk to you soon.